All right, everyone. My name is Eric Trosclair with the Tigers, and with me today, once again, my co-host number 42, Michael Ford. Michael, how you doing today, man?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for having me once again.
Absolutely, man. So, Michael, man, what happened last week, man? The LSU brand was on. I mean, you had a perfect commercial for LSU all day with game day being there. You had a million recruits, it seemed like, in so many sports. The LSU brand was just on in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And you kind of go out Saturday and lay an egg, for lack of a better term. And Alabama just beat you, it seemed like, up and down the field for 60 minutes. So, in your opinion, man, what went wrong? Take us from a player's point of view. Kind of talk to us. What's your opinion on that game?
I would say, me personally, if I was in that moment and we got beat like that, I would say the moment was too big. Meaning, as players, we got caught up in it. We looking at Instagram, we looking at TV, we looking at the comments. And I think one of the biggest things as being a player, the wrong mindset to go into is proving or trying to live up to some expectation because when you get out of your comfort zone, when you get out of what you're normally doing, it's hard to get back because when you look up, you're like, how did I get here? And like you said, college game day, all the recruits, it's a lot of distractions. If this is the first time you experiencing some magnitude like this, and I think this is Brian Kelly probably biggest game besides the national championship he played in against Alabama. And no disrespect, he got whipped. So I think the moment was too big. Like you said, up and down the field, they got whipped. We talked about it last week. If you couldn't stop the quarterback, and that's what beat them.
Right, man. That's what it seemed like. It was on that first drive, the first play. I got excited watching it because it seemed like the crowd was really into it. You
Yeah.
got a false start right off the bat. So as a fan watching it, I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. This is LSU's time to shine. And Milrow broke one, and he looked like prime Mike Vick. Oh man. you know. Oh
Yes.
man.
Took
It
a
was
took a took a needle and put it in a balloon. All
uh
the air sucked out the stadium.
right.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. So yeah, man, it that's a good way to put it. It did seem kind of like, you do have a first year starting quarterback. You do have a lot of young playmakers on this team. So like you
Yep.
said, man, maybe the moment was just a little too big. Maybe they just got too
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah. Because I mean, we in an era now where everything is everywhere. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure college game day was all on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of this, and you're seeing this. And one of the things people don't realize in college is you have a lot more free time than you think. Because you in all that space that you're in class, you have access to electronics that you
Hmm.
can just be, and then a lot more people now on campus, and they talking to you and they telling you certain things, and now you got family members trying to come to the game because this is the biggest game, biggest moment, and it's just these distractions just building up, building up. Now the focus is not on what it need to be.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes sense, Michael. So man, how, in your opinion, how does LSU kind of bounce back from this?
I, I don't think they can. To me personally, it Florida doesn't have a winning record. Oklahoma doesn't have a winning record. So to me personally, beating both of those teams, it does to me, us as being LSU fans, and the what we hold them to, beating them does nothing for us. I think now to overcome whatever happens is the recruiting. You have to go get top recruits for us to forget what happened. You have to go and recruit hard and change the mantra of what's going on right now and get that out of there. And I personally think need to get a hold of the locker room. Like it to me, it didn't even look like they cared they lost.
Yeah, man, they're definitely. I don't know, man. It's not like when you guys played. There just doesn't seem to be. that attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like you just said, there seems to be some sort of disconnect. You know,
Yes.
um, clearly I've never been in that situation, but it just seems it's not the same. You know, and I saw
No.
somebody put it. I think it was yeah, somebody had put it on Twitter and they put this ain't LSU football. And I know Brandon Taylor, I'd read, put that on Twitter a few weeks ago, and you know that's how I feel, kind of. It's not the same LSU that we're used to, you know.
And I was thinking about that. Like, no disrespect, but we have a corner at safety. Burns is a corner. And
Hmm.
like the guys I played with, no, I arguably think two of the guys, to me, Chad Jones is the greatest player I've ever seen. Patrick Peterson is the greatest athlete I ever seen. Chad Jones was a safety. This guy was 6'2", 6'3", 230.
Hmm.
Brandon Taylor, 6'1", 220. Like, these guys were real safeties coming down and hitting you. Like, this wasn't, like you said, LSU football was, man, when it was defense time, you knew who was on the field. You knew if you beat us, it was because you really threw a punch that just sent shockwaves through the stadium. There's no way a quarterback is taking the ball and running for 100 yards on LSU defense. Like, that's rare.
Hmm.
And to go 70 yards, come on, man, untouched. No, that was shocking when I seen that.
Yeah, yeah, man. And that's another thing too. You know, like you said, it's yeah, you got, and I guess it might just be this new age of college football
Yeah,
that it's your depth really gets tested, you know, with the guys leaving early, which LSU has always dealt with, but guys leaving early, then you got the transfer portal, which you can't blame guys for leaving, you know, but
no,
at the same time, your depth really gets tested, and it's just it's just you know, when it adds up quick. And
yeah,
also, like you said, I heard this on the radio, and it's kind of something that stuck with me is LSU fans winning out from the rest of the season is not really going to do much for LSU fans. It
no.
all it could add up to is just, you know, disappointing losses, and I I don't know. It's kind of it just came quick, you know.
Yeah,
It just came quick.
it did. It did.
Yeah.
And I guess the tough thing about, like you say, it's a new era. Can't fault the era because things change, things evolve, and that's just life. But as a staff, as LSU, you got to ask yourself the tough question: who do we get in to keep these kids and get the right kids that want to be a part of this program, and not so much a part of a trend? Because you're right. Like, the transfer portal is going to be there. It's going to be this thing, but at some point, you got to get the right guy in to mold the kid and help the kid see the bigger picture. And I do, from my standpoint, I do like the transfer portal because of, I know, just being at LSU, I knew a lot of guys that, in my time, there was no transfer portal. If you did, the coach had to sign off on that. And he could take a year to sign off, and he control where you went. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Alabama. No, 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 no. He got stipulations of where you can go. You couldn't go in conference. You can't go D1, so you got to go down, play in that, and then come back up. So I feel like, the transfer portal is good because there is a lot of things that go behind the scenes that we don't understand. But also at the same time, now you really got to recruit and get the right kid that's going to come in and not just, this inside scoop. Most of the time, a lot of recruiting is stealing players from your divisional rivals. We don't per se want you. We just want to put you on a roster and hide you. So you can't go to Alabama, Florida, Arkansas, Ole Miss. I want to take you from them so they can't have this kid. Now, we're better because this kid ain't going to never play.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of outside world don't know about that. Like, all this recruiting that's going on most of the time is really, I'm trying to steal you from the competition and just put you on a bench and never play you.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. You better bury it on my roster than playing somewhere else and playing
Yeah,
against me, you know. That
yeah. I mean,
definitely makes sense.
trying to win at all costs. We're trying to win here at all costs. The best way to win is I can still. That's why you look at it. Let's say a guy like Nick Saban. Let's say he was still coaching. A guy can have no offers. If Nick Saban give the offer and say he's officially offering this kid, tomorrow that kid will have over 50 offers. That ain't coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
It's not coincidence.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what I mean? That's why, in that perspective, I like the transfer portal. But it also opens it up from an eye of now it puts a demand on everything. We really got to find out what type of kids we have. Because, like you said, it seemed like there is a disconnect between LSU, the coaches, and football. It seems like it is more of just branding going on right now, instead of letting it be, this is football season, let branding be in the off season. And the old saying is, man, if you're the best player, your brand gonna take care of itself. You don't have to market yourself. Your game does that. I mean, you in Tiger Stadium, it's not that many brands bigger than LSU. You go get 100 yards or a catch or 10 tackles, whatever it is, a pick. Oh man, you skyrocket.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I agree. Because yeah, you had the world watching. You had the college football world at your hands right there, just watching you. So yeah, if you do something positive, the rest will take care of itself. Absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So I think that's the connection we got to get back with the kids. Like the NIL gonna take care of itself. Go play well, go do what you're supposed to do, and all of that's gonna take care of itself.
Absolutely, man. So Florida LSU, what does that rivalry, kind of mean to you as a former player?
Oh man! So when I first got there, it was the Tim Tebow era. So it was unreal because Tim Tebow had the college world insane. So it was at that time it was huge because it was almost like the Alabama and LSU now. Then whoever won that game, you're going to the SEC championship. Most likely you're going to the national championship. So it was our national championship. Preparing for that game and getting ready for that game, it was I would say you got to cut your phone. You got to text everybody and let them know this week there ain't gonna be too much texting, there ain't gonna be too much talking. So whoever's coming to the game, whatever you're doing, I'm gonna settle that right now. So when the week come, I ain't picking up my phone, I ain't talking to you because it's straight focus, it's laser focus because you knew it came down to one mistake wins the whole game.
Tell us your experience from playing, at Florida in the swamp.
As always, it was a great game. That was the game always when I was playing either Alabama or Florida to get to the SEC championship. So the atmosphere was can't hear. Fans was in it, all in it. It's high game. I remember had to be my sophomore year. Terrence Tolliver caught the pass and we won. So I mean that was a down to the wire game. Stephen Ridley was the starting back at that time. So I mean. Crazy atmosphere. I can tell you when I was playing, it seemed like everywhere we went, the atmosphere was just electric.
Yeah, man, that's what I've heard, that as a player that the swamp, it's almost built, seems like the fans are basically on top of you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crazy place to play in.
Yeah. Them and Auburn, like they're right on top of you.
Got you. So, man, Michael, what's some keys to the game, in this LSU Florida game, especially after last week? What's some keys that you think, LSU should look to do to get the win?
To get the win, me personally, I think get back to running. Get the ball to your running backs and really, really physical it out. Really take them out the game. I feel like Texas showed us the blueprint because Texas, I mean, the game was over in the second quarter and they couldn't. I felt like Florida wasn't disciplined enough. So that means give you some boots, give it right to your tight end. I mean, even in the Alabama game, Lacey still went for 100 receiving yards or close to it. So, I mean, that right there is the blueprint. Get the running game going. So you got a freshman. So keep getting him the experience. You have going down arguably is the greatest tight end of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Get him the ball so you can almost drown out the Alabama loss, so he can have more records and this and that. And we've been waiting on Lacey to have a great season, so find a way to give him the ball.
Absolutely, man. That's what those two guys, well, those three guys really, but all of them. I mean, why go away from them? You know, if it's working, you know, especially with Durham, man, he was really he had a great start to the game, and then they kind of just went away from him. Taylor, I mean, just keep giving him the ball over the middle, like you said last week. Take that Tom Brady approach, dink and dunk them all the way downfield. Take what they give you, you know.
Yep.
And
I mean, yep.
Yeah, man. And with Lacey, just keep short intermediate routes, and then one time put it over the top. You know, just keep them involved.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. When you have a tight end that good, I mean, anything works with play action because of his fake blocking getting out. Like, you have to respect him. There's no way you don't respect this kid. I mean, you don't go down as one of the greatest LSU tight ends of all time and not be doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah, just think LSU keep the game in your hand. Like, there's nothing to prove. I feel like as a fan, as a player, we've seen everything. Everybody has flashed, from receivers, running back, quarterback. Everybody on the offensive side of the ball we've seen had a good game. So I think we just need to do a better job of controlling the game and not getting behind the scoreboard. Stay in your game plan. No matter what, don't get out of it. Stay with it and don't experiment.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You know, just stick with it. If it's working, you know, why get away from it? Don't panic. So, not saying that they're panicking, but don't pull away from it so early. You know, like you're saying, that's an excellent point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, man, as always, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much for doing this. Best of luck Friday night, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.